Hi, hope you're doing well. Welcome to Diva Spills, where I recap and review TV shows and movies from the past and present. Let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? Yes, I have a new microphone and it changes colors every few seconds. And yes, I'm also speaking from the side because speaking from the top, there is no audio at all. I don't know why it's like that, but hopefully it has better audio than the previous microphone, so we shall live with that and you'll see a rainbow on your screen, I guess. A happy new year to each and every one of you. Thank you for the support that you have been showing Diva Spills. This is my 5th video and I'm really happy that I managed to put it out because she's a working girly, and I have to find little pockets of time when I can in order to film, watch the movies, the TV shows, take notes, edit, but I'm still very blessed to be able to find the time to do this, and I'm super grateful to all of you for all the love and kindness that you've been showing me. Thank you so much, and I hope that I can deliver better videos as I continue on this journey of my adorable little channel called Diva Spills. I truly wish nothing but the best for you in 2026. I hope that fortune and happiness and bliss and good luck is all that finds you, not just this year but for all the years. With a new year starting, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So today I was thinking of doing a non-English show. Back in 2018, I think I watched this TV show called The House of Flowers on Netflix. And it's been a while. I think I only watched like maybe 1.5 or 2 seasons of the show, but I can't really remember anything. So I thought it would be nice for us to kind of revisit the show together. And if you've not watched it before, maybe now you might. We can go through the TV show together, like we're having a little diva bestie sleepover. And that's why I've got my PJs on. It's also really late here, so it's on brand. House of Flowers is an original Netflix production. It is about a dysfunctional, upper class Mexican family who own a very prestigious flower shop called the House of Flowers. From what I recall, the show had a lot of spicy drama and piping hot tea, so we're in for a treat. In my previous video, I talked about a corner called Diva of the Season, where every movie or TV show that I review, I will pick a couple of characters and then I'll open up a poll on my channel for you divas to vote and tell me who you think is the diva of the season based off these 3 characteristics. Number 1, slayed the house down boots. Number 2, brought the drama. And number 3 is just a freaking icon. Okay, now in my previous video, and the one that I'm referring to is Teen Wolf Season 3A, I said that whoever would be diva of the season, I'm just gonna pick a random show that they're in and then we're gonna watch it and review it together. Okay, scratch that, girlfriend. I don't want to do that. Instead, we're just gonna collect our divas and like pit them against each other in the ultimate diva smackdown for whoever is going to be the crown diva. I will reveal the nominees for our Diva of the Season after I spill all the tea about Season 1 of House of Flowers. As always, I do recommend that you have a beverage, whether hot, cold, or lukewarm, for our delicious bestie diva tea time. Now today, because it's really late here and drinking anything is just going to make me hyper and not be able to fall asleep later, I've just got water with me, but it's in a cute cup, okay? This is my adorable little cup. There's a B on it for Barbie because we all know that I love Barbie and it was gifted to me by a dear cousin of mine. Hi bestie, if you're watching. If you have any requests on TV shows or movies that you'd like me to do, please feel free to drop them anytime, either on my YouTube or through my socials on Instagram and TikTok at Diva Spills, or you can subscribe and like stay tuned on updates through my channel and like have fun with the little polls that I post. It's also where I post updates on when the next video is gonna drop. You can watch or listen to this on YouTube and Spotify. A quick disclaimer before we dive in, I'm by no means verified to be a critic. These are just my personal thoughts and opinions that are in no way affiliated with anyone or anything. So let's spill some tea, divas. I want to preface this by saying that I may butcher some of the names, like the pronunciation of them, and I do apologize if I do. I'm tried my best to follow how they said it in the show, but bear with me. Episode 1. So the show revolves around a main family called the Della Mora family, and like I said in the intro, they own a very prestigious flower shop called the House of Flowers. Virginia, the matriarch of the family, has always had her family believed that they were absolutely polished to perfection, that they were exemplary, an example to others. This story, or this season, was meant to be a tell-all by a narrator named Roberta. So episode 1 begins with Delia, the main housekeeper of the big Della Mora mansion, telling Ernesto, Virginia's husband, to go and get ready for his big birthday party that they're about to have. Paulina, their eldest daughter and the one who's running the business, is chatting with their financial advisor Diego about their liquidity, or I guess the lack of liquidity, when her brother Julian and his girlfriend Lucia join them downstairs. Paulina doesn't like her brother's girlfriend because she thinks that she's just a gold digger. Their younger sister, Elena, is coming back from New York with her boo, Dominic, to Ernesto's birthday party as a surprise for him and for the family in general. He proposed to her actually, and she accepted it, but she kind of wanted to keep it on the down low because she knew that her family wouldn't take to this news very well. The party's like a huge affair with paparazzi, and they have like a pretty extensive guest list. Also, the House of Flowers, like shop front, is actually connected to their mansion. So the couple, Elena and Dominic, they walk in, they say hi to their siblings. When Virginia, the matriarch, she comes out singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to her husband. Already such an iconic diva with her Marilyn Monroe rendition, okay? Slay. So we've now met the entire Della Mora family. We've got Virginia, Ernesto, the eldest daughter Paulina, the middle child Julian, and the youngest daughter Elena. Paulina actually has a son. His name is Bruno, and he shows up to the party in some tennis gear saying that he forgot that it's his grandfather's birthday. He then spills wine on Elena's dress by accident when they're about to take a massive family photo for some magazine. So Elena, she goes to the shop because that's where she and Dominique had actually deposited their luggage earlier. She just wanted to change out of a dress. Roberta, the one who is going to tell all this season about the Della Mora family, she's at the party too, but like nobody notices her there. She walks past the family and she goes into the flower shop. Delia actually catches up with Elena because they're very close. She practically raised Elena. So Elena tells her about her engagement and Delia's so happy for her. And as they're talking, they walk into the flower shop together, only to find that Roberta had hung herself in the flower shop. Julian comes in too, trying to help her, but like Roberta's already gone. Then like Paulina comes in out of nowhere and she like joins them, and like she recognizes Roberta. Julian and Elena try to ask Paulina like, who the hell is she and like how do you know her? After some resistance, Paulina says that Roberta is their dad's mistress. So juicy already, and it's only been like what, 5 minutes? Paulina asks Julian to go and get Diego, the financial advisor. Why do we need a financial advisor in this situation? I do not know, but that was her instruction. And then she tells Elena to go and get their dad, Ernesto. But they can't make it seem obvious. The party still needs to go on because they can't do this to their mother in front of so many people. The siblings, they get back to their party where like Virginia is proclaiming her love for Ernesto. Oh, Julian, he gets Diego and he brings him to the flower shop, relieving Delia of her duties of guarding the dead body so that nobody sees them. Then Diego, he immediately pushes Julian up against the windows, glass windows, and he starts making out with him. Oh my god, the tea is piping. I did not remember all these details, but can I just say I live. When Julian comes to his senses, he points out Roberta to Diego, who is also equally just as shocked. Julian asks Diego to wait and stay with Roberta's body until the police arrive. See, Paulina had called the police chief because apparently she has connections with them, and like the chief and his whole squad, they show up to the party, and Virginia's like, oh, so nice of you to invite the police chief and his squad. Like, she thinks that they're just there for the party. Sorry, I had to let my head down because the glasses pushed my head. It was hurting. So Elena, she takes Ernesto away, and Julian tries to stop Virginia from following them. Paulina, she manages to get the cops to go to the shop front as well, because that's the reason she called them over, not to go for the party. So now everyone is like in the shop except for Virginia, and Ernesto, he breaks down crying when he sees Roberta's body. Paulina asks the cops to take the body away only after the party is over and not in front of everyone, to spare the embarrassment for their mother. But right then, Virginia walks in. Oh my god, talk about the drama! And then she sees the body and she knows Roberta as well, but she doesn't know that Roberta is her husband's mistress until Ernesto just blurts it out right there and then. A little brawl begins between them, but it ends just as quickly because Virginia says that they must take their family photo for the magazine. It's supposed to go onto the cover of Vanity Fair. But while they get their picture taken, Virginia also faints. So the siblings, they shut down the party using the excuse that Virginia has low blood pressure and she wasn't feeling too well. Julian, he seeks comfort with Diego. He says that he doesn't want to keep their relationship a secret anymore and that he wants to live with Diego. And like Lucia, she almost catches them, but like Julian sends her away and like he sends her home just in time. Paulina, she talks to her mom. She was under the impression that she had known about Ernesto's affair, but she did not. Virginia knows Roberta because Roberta worked at the flower shop 20 years ago, which is also when Ernesto's affair with her began. Virginia blames Paulina for not telling her any of this earlier, and Paulina is like, be so for real, girl. Virginia, she smoked some weed in a jade pipe. I mean, honestly, how delicious of her. Elena, she tells Dominic, forgot about him for a second, but she tells him to go back to the hotel. She's just gonna stay in the house because she's got to deal with some of the craziness. She's worried that this is some kind of omen for their marriage, or like that bad luck is gonna come their way. Girl, don't even go there. The family, they gather in the lounge, all 5 of them. Virginia says that since this affair was in the past, she's just gonna let it go. She's not gonna bring it up, but that everyone in the family has to take the secret to their grave. In Roberta's house though, her 2 children, Claudio, he's an adult, and her young daughter, Micaela, they come home to an empty house, and there is a letter from Roberta that is addressed to Claudio asking him to bring his sister to a very specific address. Dear Lord, they get to the address and it's the freaking De La Mora mansion, okay? Micaela, the girl, she walks in and she immediately greets Ernesto as Papa right in front of everyone. Oh my god, talk about drama, man. I mean, is this what they call a telenovela? Oh, I live. It gets better. So Micaela, she's the stepsister of Paulina, Julian, and Elena. And she and Paulina, they know each other. They've met. Mind blown. Literally. Delia, the housekeeper, she actually has a letter from Roberta addressed to Virginia in her possession. Nobody knows that that letter even exists, so nobody has even seen, let alone read it yet. We are off to a great start. Okay, episode 2. So you know how the De La Mora family, they own the flower shop called the House of Flowers, right? Well, Ernesto and Roberta, they have a business of their own. They own a cabaret, and the name of the cabaret is called the House of Flowers. That's freaking wild, bro. Insane. And if you aren't already hooked to the story, rest assured there's about to be some more drama coming up. Claudio, Roberta's son, he announces to the cabaret about Roberta's passing. Paulina and Ernesto actually join him when he's giving the announcement because they've decided to have her funeral service in the cabaret itself. The drag queens at this club, they know Paulina. Like, damn bro, she knows everyone and everything, like everybody's business, she's up in it. She tells her dad, Ernesto, that they gotta keep it low-key because Virginia can't know about it. Claudio, he takes like 50 grand, I think, out of the cabaret safe to use for the funeral service for his mother. Ernesto, he hugs Claudio and tells him that he's the son that he's never had. Excuse me, what about Julian, his actual son? Ernesto says to Paulina that he doesn't know how to tell Micaela about her mother. The poor young girl is currently staying in the mansion and she goes around wandering until she finds Elena, who is in her room. She says that she can't find any of her parents and she's a kid, bro. So Elena, she tries to call her dad, but like he doesn't answer, I guess. They don't really show what happens. Remember how like Roberta, she wrote a letter that was addressed to Virginia. It's currently in the housekeeper's possession, right? And like she tries to open it so that she can read the letter. Nosy girl, but Paulina walks in on her before she can, demanding to know what's going on with the wreaths for the funeral service because yes, Paulina is apparently handling everything. Delia says that she is very uncomfortable doing this because she feels like she's betraying Virginia, but Paulina says that they've got to do it, and she gives the name of the cabaret to Delia, who is shocked at the name. I mean, same girlfriend. Ernesto, he actually talks to Virginia and he says that he will leave if she wants him to, but Virginia says that's not going to happen because the flower shop's anniversary is actually coming up and they need to keep that like perfect family facade that they have. She doesn't want to lose any of her clients, and she also tells Ernesto that it's not realistic and it's not possible for Micaela to continue staying in the house. Paulina, she gets to the breakfast table with her siblings, son, stepsister, and future brother-in-law. Paulina, she tells Bruno to bring Micaela to Ernesto. Julian is upset with her because she kept Ernesto's affair a secret from them, but like Paulina just throws it back in his face because she knows that Julian and Diego are together, so she knows that he's also a two-timing man. I mean, girlfriend really knows everybody's shit, man. In retaliation, Julian removes Paulina from their sibling group chat. Oh my god, he's so petty, I love it. The police chief actually asks Ernesto to go down to the precinct, so he asks Paulina to be the one to take Micaela to Roberta's house. Elena, she wants to go for Roberta's funeral, but Paulina says no, that it's just going to be a very small thing and then it's going to be a cremation. There's not going to be like a funeral service, just flat out lying to her sister. I wonder why Paulina doesn't want to tell her siblings the truth though, because I feel like when there are familial related issues or like people's secrets, like my brother and I tell each other everything. Paulina, she goes to the funeral home just to make sure that like Roberta's body is being prepped and transported properly. Their neighbor Carmela is like, hey girl, what are you doing here? Did someone die? So Paulina lied and said that it's charity work because Carmela is a little bit of a nosy thing. Micaela, she's actually with Elena and Dom right now. They bring her to a park in hopes of distracting her, and there's like some kind of fortune teller thingy going on, and Micaela, she draws a fortune that says a loved one is going very far away very soon. Oh my god. Elena calls Paulina and she's like, where are you at, sister? Paulina lies and says that she's in the shop, so she tells Elena to bring Micaela back to Roberta's home so that she can go and get changed for the funeral. Micaela doesn't even know about her mother yet. Paulina and Bruno join Elena and Dom at Roberta's apartment after that. And Elena, she sees Paulina and Bruno in the family photos, like with Roberta, Claudio, the gang. You know, like it's just... Paulina says that Ernesto's the one who forced her to go on those family trips. And Elena's like, what the hell is wrong with our father, bro? Like, no wonder your personality is like that. What a read. Oh my god, the shade. Like, siblings are really put there to humble your ass. Elena and Dom say that they'll attend the funeral to be there in support for Micaela, and like nobody has to know who they are. Ernesto and Claudio, they bring Micaela to a diner because that's where they want to break the news to her. Bruno and Paulina, they get to a funeral home. Paulina, I mean, she's such a character, you know, I don't even know what to say. She like teaches Bruno to lie because here's the thing. She told Elena and Dom to go to the funeral home that she and Bruno are at currently. And like, as a random person's funeral is ending and like people are leaving, she gets Bruno to swap the pictures with Roberta's picture instead, so that when Elena and Dom came, which they did, she told them, see, I told you that the funeral service was just going to be small and quick. Like, everyone's already gone home. Micaela, she came and she went. Like, the audacity, please. Elena's like, where are the wreaths from the shop? Why are different ones here? And Paulina says, oh, they were sent to the burial site. A lie. She told Elena that Roberta was going to be cremated, but now she's saying that it's a burial site. And Elena, she does not catch on. Back in the De La Mora mansion, Delia, she actually gives Virginia the letter from Roberta. They don't show what the letter says, but Virginia has some huge secret that Ernesto actually told Roberta about. So in return, Roberta tells her a secret of her own. Roberta's letter says that it's up to Virginia, you know, what she wants to do with them. Virginia, she burns the letter after reading it, and she asks Delia where the funeral is. She knows that Delia knows because she noticed that the chrysanthemums were gone, okay? You can't steal from somebody's shop, bro. Like, she's gonna notice the inventory, okay? Because she knew that there were no customer orders for chrysanthemums. Before she goes, though, she gets a fresh new cut that Julian helps her with. So, like, slay mama. She cropped it and then she dyed her hair black. Like, yes, hunty, get that cut. Julian feels like she shouldn't go for the funeral and that she should just kick Ernesto out of the house, okay? But Virginia says it's bigger than that. It's not just about Ernesto. So Julian says that he will go with her and that he's going to call Diego to come along. And she's like, our financial advisor? Yeah, same queen. But of course, we know the context to that. He says that Diego is his friend and that there will be strength in numbers. Right. Julian, he calls Elena about the situation to tell her that he and the mother and Diego is going to go for the funeral service. And Elena's like, don't bother. Me and Dom already went and like it's over. Nobody's there. And then he tells her that she got the address wrong. And that's when she realized that Paulina lied to her. The five of them, Virginia, Julian, Diego, Elena, and Dom, they show up at the entrance of the cabaret and they are gobsmacked at the name. Yes, when they enter the cabaret, Micaela and the drag queens are like singing karaoke. Paulina actually had the audacity to be like, who invited you here? Oh my god. Rainier talks to Ernesto privately. She asks Ernesto who is the one who decided to name the cabaret the House of Flowers after their own flower shop. And Ernesto says that he is the one who made that decision. He said that the cabaret was his, that it was his investment. He actually took money from the original House of Flowers to put into the cabaret, but of course he paid everything back with interest. He said that in its heyday, the cabaret was actually very popular and it was the one that was paying for the lifestyle that they're living, for Elena's masters in New York, because the flower business is doing horribly. If they were to just have relied on that, the lifestyle that they had now would not be sustainable. Paulina, she exposes this fact to her siblings as well, and Dom is just there Turns out Diego knew about it as well because he's their financial advisor. Julian was pissed about the fact that Diego knew about this and did not tell him because he and Diego have been together for like 5 years. Verenia, she tells Ernesto about the letter that she received from Roberta. She doesn't disclose much of the content, just that Roberta had requested for her to take Micaela in, and she agrees. Diego and Julian, they get it on after he apologizes to Julian for hiding it. Julian had time to stop and reflect and realize that he's become his father. Thank you, Jinx Monsoon, for that joke. Elena, she gives her condolences to Claudio and she says that she's glad to have Micaela be a part of their lives. Paulina, she tries to apologize to Virginia, but Virginia is not having any of this, okay? She says that whoever inherits her house of flowers, well, she needs to have a full trust in them. And right now, Paulina does not have a single ounce of it. Episode 3. Julian tells Diego after 5 years that he's ready to move in, ready for them to live together. He doesn't want to lead this double life anymore, like what his father had been doing. The siblings, they seem to have made up and they're hanging out in Elena's room. Julian says that he's gonna tell his parents about Diego. He's ready to come out to them. Alina says that maybe it's not the right time, that they need to let things, process a little bit about Roberta and Ernesto and Ernesto's secret family that Paulina and Bruno knew about. Julian, he just wants to get it done because he's tired of dragging it on, Elena, however, takes it upon herself to go and out Julian to their mother, basically. And she feels like deep down, Verenia should have already known because they get many patties together. Then Verenia blames this on Elena, the projection, huh? Elena tells her to cut the drama, okay? And to not say anything mean when Julian does come out to them. But you know what Verenia does? She gives Julian her great-grandmother's ring for him to go and propose to Lucia. He just says he can't and he goes to break up with Lucia, to Verenia's disappointment. Lucia doesn't care when Julian tells her that he's gay. She says that she knows for a fact that he's not. So she doesn't want to break up with him. And to prove her point, they hook up at the squash court. So it's not that Julian is gay, he's bi. But he was supposed to move in with Diego that day. Oh my god. Our other cheater, Ernesto, he tells Paulina and Claudio that he's gonna leave the cabaret to them. He doesn't know anything about running one. I think Roberta was probably the one who was running it for 20 years. Paulina wants to handle it alone because she knows about running a business since she also runs the flower business, and Claudio doesn't know a single thing about running a business. But because Claudio had been there for most of his life, he feels like he would know the business better than Paulina, so they argue, but then they kind of work it out. I don't know. Paulina, she goes scoping around the place looking for areas of improvement. One of the drag queens say that the cabaret is actually in debt and that they owe money to the drag performers as well, which is probably why Roberta hung herself. Honey, oh my god, weren't you just sobbing and bawling and crying in the previous episode when she died and now you're reading her? What's with the shade? When Elena was telling Virginia about Julian being gay, she also told Virginia that she should go and get some therapy because of her projection. I guess Virginia kind of takes her advice because she goes to a child therapist that's an old friend of her, Dr. Cohen. He used to be the therapist for her 3 kids. She just needed someone to talk to, and I guess she thought of him. It has been a while since they have talked to each other, but they've known each other for a long time. She spills her feelings to him, tells him how she feels about Julian coming out to her as gay, and the therapist, Dr. Cohen, he tells her that Julian used to bring it up during their therapy sessions back then. Whatever happened to patient confidentiality, bro? He says that there's nothing wrong with being gay. Hello, yes, a slay, thank you. Essentially, Virginia is just worried that Julian being gay means that people may be mean to him or they may insult him, and she just doesn't want him to get hurt that way. Julian is lunching with Elena and Dom, and he tells her about Lucia. He comes to his self-realization that he is indeed buy, but that Diego is the one that he loves. Elena says that she'll help him. So she'll throw like a big dinner party for the whole family, and that's when he can come out to them. Ernesto, he brings Micaela to an amusement park to ask her if she would like to move into the De La Mora family mansion. Hold up. Where has she been living all this time then? Like alone at Roberta's house? Like Micaela, she asks Ernesto what Roberta meant to him because Virginia is his wife. Ernesto tells her that Roberta was like a wife to him. Like he loved her like a wife. Micaela agrees to stay with him when he promises that he'll be home a lot more. Because back then, when Roberta was still alive, whenever he had to leave the apartment and be at the De La Mora family mansion, he would tell Micaela that he was going on a business trip. Virginia, she welcomes Micaela to the house with open arms, and Micaela, she sees Bruno setting up a tent in the garden. He says he does that because sometimes he feels like he needs space from everyone, and he's actually really nice to her. He invites her to join him for a step nephew bonding moment, I guess. At the family dinner that night, Virginia tells Paulina that Judas may have taken one daughter away, but God sent her another daughter. Oh my god, she's so dramatic. I love her. What a thing to say. At the dinner table, everyone's talking about their own thing. Ernesto's trying to set Julian up with a job at the cabaret since Paulina is the one running it now, and Virginia, she is offended at the idea. Elena, she cuts everyone off and invites Julian to speak. Diego is there, by the way, of course. Julian says that he's never been good at public speaking, so he put it in a song. He sings his feelings out, and Virginia thinks that he wants to become a singer because of that, And so Julian is like, no, I'm bi. And Diego is like, huh? You're bi? I thought you're gay. I don't know why he's so surprised though, because what did he think Julian and Lucia were doing? Julian also tells the family right then that he and Diego are moving in together. The whole family, they erupt into a massive argument. The parents are shocked to hear that Julian and Diego have been together for 5 years. Julian is upset that Elena told Virginia about it before he got the chance to. Everyone's just yelling at each other until the doorbell rings because the police have arrived. The chief of police arrests Ernesto for financial crimes. He's confused. Everyone's confused. Paulina, she tries to stop it, and Ernesto, he tells Julian before he gets taken away that he's so happy for him and Diego. It's kind of sweet. He said that he always kind of knew about Julian and he's just happy as long as he's happy. Paulina goes with Ernesto, and Miss Nosy Neighbor Carmela is like, what's going on, honey? And so Paulina lies to her and tells her that there was a break-in in the house, so they have to go down to the precinct as Dahlia escorts her home. That was just 3 episodes and already just so much has happened. It's crazy, but I love it. I can't even imagine the drama that's gonna come for the rest of the episodes, and there's 13 in total. Episode 4, Virginia tells Dahlia that in Roberta's letter, she had actually confessed to taking out huge loans under Ernesto's name. Virginia is the one who gave it that little push and reported this to the police. She reported Ernesto to the police because she wanted Ernesto to spend some time in jail, have a moment of self-reflection about his actions. Honestly, work. When Paulina gets back from the precinct, she tells her siblings and mother that Ernesto actually gave Roberta power of attorney to buy a car, but she used that to take out those loans instead. Millions of dollars to be exact. Under Virginia's instructions, they decide to tell people that he went on a business trip to Japan. Dahlia tells Elena that she actually managed to read a little of what was in Roberta's letter to Virginia. The reason why Virginia was suddenly so accepting of Micaela staying in the De La Mora family mansion is because in her letter, Roberta asks Virginia to take care of Michaela just like how Ernesto took care of a child that is not his. One of the three siblings is not Ernesto's biological child. Oh my god. Elena tells Julian about it and he's like, so that's why Virginia didn't want to kick Ernesto out when he suggested it to her. Because she cheated on him too. Elena, she doesn't think that it's Paulina because she has the same personality as her dad. And Julian thinks it's him for a moment, but Elena's like, dude, you're a cheater too. She feels like she is the one who is not Ernesto's biological child. Paulina tells Virginia that the lawyer fee is very expensive and that she wants to tell Diego to empty one of their accounts to pay for it. But Virginia says that she'll handle it. So she pays Diego a visit and she tells Diego that she doesn't want him to sell any of her stuff. Maybe he can sell some of like the trinkets or like antiques that Ernesto's side of the family has, but none of hers. Diego gets the impression that Virginia doesn't actually want to help Ernesto, and he's right, but nobody knows that she's the one who ratted him out to the police in the first place. And it seems like she's suddenly okay with the fact that Julian and Diego are like dating. She even uses it as her advantage because she knows that Diego would do anything to impress her, so she makes him promise to keep this a secret from her children. When Virginia goes home, she passes the tent that Bruno and Michaela are in when nosy neighbor Carmela swings by saying that she needs flowers for something, and then she asks Virginia who the hell is this girl, and Virginia lies and says that she is a recently orphaned niece of Ernesto who's probably gonna stay with them forever. Michaela actually asks Virginia where her dad is, if he has like another family or is he dead? And Virginia says that Ernesto's in Japan. Oh my god, please. She decides to bring Michaela to Dr. Cohen because girl has been through some pretty traumatic things. She kind of lets everything out, but like Virginia dominates the session. She says that she feels bad because everyone is so distraught over Ernesto's situation and the money issues that they have. Paulina, she shares with the rest of the family that Ernesto was actually denied bail, so they now have to either go for trial or pay like a few $1,000,000 for him to get out. Their accounts and assets were also frozen, and so Virginia instantly blamed Paulina for everything. Oh my god, like what is with the gaslighting in this family for real? Virginia, she is worried about how they're gonna pay for the anniversary party for the flower shop, and Paulina is like, Miss Ma'am, that is the first thing that has to go. And Virginia's response to that is, that's why Paulina will never inherit the flower shop. Oh my god. She only relents when Elena agrees with Paulina that they cannot have the anniversary party anymore. But Virginia says that the party is gonna happen and that Ernesto is definitely gonna be there. Claudio, he visits the siblings and he apologizes. He didn't know that his mother did all that. And he had also just recently found out that she actually remortgaged the cabaret a couple of times as well. He wanted to sell the cabaret so that they have money to pay for Ernesto's bail, but he said because it's under Ernesto's name, he can't do anything about it either. Paulina says that the best way is to try and revitalize the cabaret's business so that they can drum up money. Then Julian shows all of them a video of a male stripper named Poncho. It's his new friend that he met at the sauna. Claudio thinks that it's a good idea to have a new act and that the male strippers could go after the drag queens. Virginia, she struggles to get her clients from the flower shop to pay her in cash. Because of their accounts being frozen, they don't have enough cash in hand for the day-to-day expenses. She tells Paulina that they need to contact who Ernesto has deemed to be the best lawyer in all of Mexico, Jose Maria, Paulina's ex-husband and Bruno's father. Her ex-husband agrees to fly to Mexico, and Paulina's quite happy about that because she feels like everybody in the family would do anything to help Ernesto, until Elena rains on her parade and tells them that one of them is not his biological child. Elena says that the three of them should take a DNA test. But Paulina's not so sure. She feels like maybe they should just talk to her mother, but Alina can't, because then her mother will know that Delia is the one who read the letter from Roberta. Virginia, in a state of urgency and desperation, calls her friend's son, who had actually dropped by her shop earlier that day. Apparently he's like a DJ or influencer or something like that, and he had told her that he could help her boost her business if she wanted. Virginia knows that she shot herself in the foot by reporting Ernesto because of the current financial situation that they're in, but she's adamant that it'll pay off. The tea is seriously piping hot, man. Virginia managed to get like a huge deal with Dr. Cohen's sister, and Virginia says that Elena is going to be in charge of it. Paulina is astounded because, like, since when? But like, Elena defends her abilities. Paulina reminds her of the time when she took charge of Dr. Cohen's sister's daughter's wedding and she had accidentally included poison ivy into the bouquet. Virginia says that she doesn't care. She just wants Elena to stay longer so that Elena can be the one to inherit the flower shop. Elena, she pays Dr. Cohen's sister a visit. The event is supposed to be her grandson's bar mitzvah, and she proves to be a rather difficult client, like insisting on having dahlias as the centerpieces even though they're currently not in season. Elena knows a supplier who can give the dahlias, but she doesn't want to tell Elena unless Elena tells Virginia that Paulina is going to be the one who's running point on this event, because she knows that Virginia chose Elena just to spite her. But Elena doesn't want to, so Paulina doesn't tell her where she can get dahlias from, and Elena decides to order them from their biggest competitor, Chiquis. In a fit of rage, while Elena is bitching about it to Delia, she throws Roberta's picture out of the window to the ground, and it gets picked up by Miss Nosy Neighbor Carmela. Virginia, she sees an article in a magazine that talks about the fall of the Della Mora family, and I think they used a picture of her fainting as well. That guy in episode 1 who said that they were taking a picture to go into the cover of Vanity Fair, yeah, he lied to her. Paulina and Julian, they are evaluating the new act with the male strippers in the cabaret, and it turns out the siblings, they actually did take a DNA test after all to know who is not Ernesto's biological child. Julian and Virginia, they're getting mani-pedis when he tells her that he wants to bring Diego to the bar mitzvah as his +1, and Virginia says that that's not going to happen. Like, yes, he came out to them, but he needs to keep it confined to the walls of the house. She doesn't want his relationship to be so publicly on display, especially with all the crap that they have going on now. So maintaining their image as the perfect family is of utmost importance to her. She makes him take Lucia, and he agrees, even though he has not spoken to Lucia ever since they hooked up at the squash court, which like he did not even tell Diego about. He also lies to Diego about not being able to bring a +1 to the bar mitzvah because apparently the Cohens are cheap. Child. Paulina, she goes to visit Ernesto in jail to tell him that her ex-husband is coming to help him out with this situation. Then she makes him pose for a picture with a peace sign so that Julian can Photoshop images of Ernesto being in Japan for Micaela. Oh my god. Elena, she managed to get the dahlias, right, because she ordered them from the competitor, and she had them sent to the cabaret so that Virginia and Paulina, like, nobody would find out. Once they reach the cabaret, though, Claudio, he takes her out for tacos because, like, yeah, he has a thing for her. And, like, he pretends that she doesn't even have a boyfriend slash fiance. Like, red flag. Elena tells him that Micaela misses Claudio a lot and that she's gone through so much, so he needs to be there for her. Wait, what? You mean he has not been there for her this whole time? Damn, bro, like, that's your sister. And his response was to just laugh about it. Like, how is that funny? While they're out kikiing, one of the drag queens think that the dahlias are for her act, and Paulina, who knew that it was for Elena, encourages her to use it in the act. Talk about sabotaging your own sibling. Elena, she uses Dom's credit card to buy more dahlias. And at the actual bar mitzvah, all seems to be well until Paulina tries to sabotage her further. She tells Virginia that the dahlias came from their competitor, but Virginia is in denial, or at least she pretends to be. It's all just to spite Paulina, and she encourages for Elena to stay in Mexico and to take over running the flower shop business. She feels like Elena did a great job for the bar mitzvah. Paulina also asks Elena if Claudio is like flirting with her because he was very touchy with Elena at the bar mitzvah. Why is he there? Honey, time and place, please. Elena calls Paulina bitter, and Paulina is like, yeah, bitch, I am bitter. But it's like, that's all she has. All she has is the flower shop and Bruno. We also find out that Dr. Cohen and Virginia actually used to date, like, right before she met Ernesto. And in other news, Claudio and Elena, they hook up in the flower shop after Elena spins Michaela too much and too fast and too strong that she hits her head, and then they bring her home back to the mansion. So they hook up. Oh, Elena, no. And remember how the siblings took like a DNA test to see who is not the biological child? Well, the results are in, and the person is Paulina. Damn. And guess who her father is? The therapist. I know. Episode 6. Paulina and Jose Maria, they had a really bad divorce because Jose Maria realized that he's trans. So the marriage had to end. Paulina goes to pick up her ex, who now goes by Maria Jose, who, by the way, looks fucking fabulous, okay? Living for the New York City lawyer vibes. So Sex in the City. Elena tells Delia, who is cleaning up the mess in the flower shop that Elena and Claudio made when they were shacking it up in there, about how Paulina is the one who isn't Ernesto's biological child. Claudio and Julian, they are introducing the male strippers to the drag queens in the cabaret. So I guess Julian has joined the family business. And the flower shop, the flower shop is actually flourishing right now because you remember Virginia's son's friend, the influencer DJ. Yeah, his name's Freddie. He helped the drummer business all right. What I didn't mention in episode 5 is that when he had come to visit her to get some flowers for his mom, I think, I don't know. She was like smoking weed when he entered, and he asked her for a sample, and she said that it's grown at home in her own greenhouse or like garden. Well, now Miss Entrepreneur Virginia is selling tons of bouquets with a little special package on the inside. Maria Jose and Paulina, they go and visit Ernesto in jail. She is asking Ernesto all these questions that a lawyer would, and from the loans that Roberta took out, they actually used a lot of it for fertility treatments overseas. So Michaela was not an unplanned surprise, which is what he had told Paulina. Child. Maria Jose actually schools Ernesto when he had the audacity to say that she should have come dressed like a man, and like Paulina stands up for her ex. Like, yes, okay, finally something slave-worthy from Paulina. Maria Jose wants to leave. She doesn't want to defend Ernesto. Besides, she only came because Paulina is the one who asked. Nosy neighbor Carmela, she brings that photo of Roberta that Elena threw out the window to Virginia, asking who that be and why Claudio and Elena look so comfy with each other. Because a picture of them being very touchy with each other was published in the local newspaper because the bar mitzvah was being covered by a local newspaper. She's like, what if the foreigner Dom finds out? Sister, boundaries, please. She even like tries to dig deeper about Julian and Diego because she like suspects something. And Virginia is like, you know what? There is something. I need to tell you something so important. I'll meet you for tea if you're free. Oh my god, even I'm irritated at Carmela, the nosy neighbor. Virginia tells Carmela about Roberta, like Ernesto's affair, and about Michaela as well, but that's it. And Carmela tells her that she has got to leave Ernesto. But Virginia is like, how can you give me that advice when your husband, who is always away on business trips, has been actively cheating on you as well? Virginia uses that as leverage so that Carmela won't blab her mouth off. Meanwhile, Elena is minding the flower shop when a young customer comes in asking for one of those special bouquets. Naturally, Elena has no idea what this guy is even talking about. This naive guy, he spills the tea to Elena, who then confronts Virginia about it, but then agrees to help her with it. Did Elena just forget that she and Claudio hooked up? What the hell? Well, Claudio didn't because he kept bombarding her with messages. Bruno, he sees Maria Jose again and he's happy. I mean, he has accepted her for the woman that she is, and I think that's a gorgeous message to have. But in Paulina's fashion, she kind of uses that to her advantage. The fact that Bruno also adores his grandfather to convince Maria Jose to defend him. She accidentally let slip that she lost Bruno's puppy sometime back, even though she had told him that it actually got stolen. I mean, sister, you can't even keep up with the lies. During dinner, she tries to nudge Bruno to ask Maria Jose about defending Ernesto. But Bruno is more concerned about what happened to his puppy, and Maria Jose smells the bullshit, okay? So she and Paulina, they argue, and Maria Jose, she tells it like it is, okay? Paulina's manipulative ways that she's exactly like her father, and that's when she blurts out that Ernesto is not her biological father. She and Bruno don't live in a mansion, by the way. They have their own house. Paulina tells Maria Jose that she thinks that Dr. Cohen is her real father. They talk about it, and Maria Jose is like, even though we are divorced and she is a woman now, that doesn't mean that the feelings that she has for Paulina have just gone away. They have always been there. And then they hook up. And it's great for them because they actually feel a lot better about each other and in general the next morning. In other news, Diego actually found out that Lucia was Julian's plus one to the Cohen's bar mitzvah because she posted a picture of them on social media, and he's obviously pissed with Julian. Hello. So Julian, he feels bad after that happens. He feels worse when the male strippers' performances don't go well with the crowd at the cabaret. And then to top it off, when he gets home to where he and Diego live, Diego slept with another man, bro. Diego said that he might as well, since they are supposedly having an open relationship now. Claudio, he tells Elena that Julian is depressed. So she goes down to the cabaret and she tells Julian that, an open relationship might not be so bad. It's the in thing in New York. Is it really though? And she says that he can enjoy it too. So he buys into the idea. The tea just gets hotter and hotter. In not court, but at a hearing, I don't know what you call that, Ernesto is much kinder to Maria Jose, who is giving Elwood's realness up in there, okay? The judge, he grants the De La Mora family access to their bank accounts. Basically, he unfreezes everything. However, he feels that Ernesto might be a flight risk, and so he denies bail. Episode 7. After a threesome with Julian, Diego, and Diego's new lover, Diego said he doesn't want an open relationship. He just slept with the man so that Julian could feel how he felt by, being with Lucia. And, he doesn't even know about the squash court thing, okay? Diego breaks up with Julian. Honestly, good for him. Julian, he moves back into the De La Mora house, and Lucia goes to find him because she wants to cheer him up. But she finds his tablet laying out in the open on his bed while he was in the bathroom, and on it, he was watching a recording of the threesome child. You want to record stuff like that, good for you. But when you go to the bathroom or when you're not with your device, lock the damn thing. Lucia, she leaves the mansion when Julian asks her to, but she says that he is not breaking up with her. She blackmails him and says that if he does not propose to her, she's going to leak the recording, and she's already sent a copy of it to herself. Paulina says that it's important for Maria Jose to go to the De La Mora family mansion and give Virginia updates on the situation with Ernesto, but for obvious reasons, she obviously doesn't want to go. She says that the only way she'll go is if Paulina talks to Dr. Cohen about being his daughter. So Paulina makes the arrangements. Claudio tries to get it on with Elena in the flower shop again. Like, honestly, just get a freaking bit, bro. She tries to put a stop to it, saying this isn't right because they share a stepsister who is like suddenly avoiding Claudio, and also the fact that Elena is engaged. Freddie comes in asking for an order, and like Elena is so honest with Claudio, telling him about the greens that they have, but they've hit a problem, and that is that they are running out. Claudio hooks her up with a friend of his that grows his own weed. I thought that they were growing their own too. Demand must be more than supply, I suppose. The thing is, Claudio's friend doesn't want to sell them. He says that he doesn't do any of these legal like businesses here. He says that if you need them and if the plants need you, then it's a fair trade. So Elena gets like a whole batch of weed after acting like they're puppies. Elena, she visits Dr. Cohen and she spills, tearfully about everything that's going on, that she thinks that Dr. Cohen is her dad. Lets it all out, right? And Dr. Cohen, he says it's not possible, but even he starts to have a little doubt. Alina leaves his office before he can say anything though. Julian, he finally visits Ernesto. He said that Paulina actually told them not to go so that they can keep things like low key, like low profile. Ernesto knows that Julian and Diego broke up because of how sad he was looking, and he spills that he really does love Diego. Ernesto reminds Julian of the day that he first met Diego, which was in a bathroom. They immediately hooked up as strangers without even a hi, how are you, my name is, until they meet again later in Ernesto's office because he was being introduced as the new financial advisor for the family. Obviously, Ernesto doesn't know about the bathroom part, but yeah, Ernesto tells Julian to go and win Diego back and to not screw it up. Julian, he confides in Virginia and he asks for her great-grandmother's ring so that he can go and propose to Lucia, literally just forgetting everything that Ernesto just said, because he says that Diego is done with him and like Lucia had that blackmail going, which Virginia doesn't know about. She actually goes to Diego's house just as Julian proposes to Lucia in like a staged setting in her home, because like Lucia's entire family was there. On the other hand, Virginia and Diego, they have a heart-to-heart, and she says that she's not gonna let Julian make a mistake. He obviously loves Diego, and it prompts Diego to call Julian, who then finds the courage to break up with Lucia at their own engagement party, like just a few minutes later, so that he can go to Diego. Yes, for love. And like Virginia, she came in clutch. Julian proposes to Diego in the De La Mora house and he agrees. Elena and Virginia like witness this just as Paulina and Maria Jose sashay in looking fierce. Virginia is a little overwhelmed by everything. She has a hard time accepting what's going on because she didn't expect Maria Jose to come in looking fabulous. Right on time, Carmela walks in with some cake because she said that she saw so many cars in the driveway and it looked like they were having a party and she wanted to join. Oh my god, just mind your own damn business. Paulina hides Maria Jose away as like Delia and Virginia try to kick her out. Like, she had the nerve to be like insulted by that too. Like, oh my god, Miss Thing, this is not your house. Oh my god, she is so nosy. But Anyway, once things had settled, Maria Jose she gives her updates on the situation. She is gonna file for an appeal to try and get Ernesto out ASAP. Bruno sees the video of Julian and Diego's threesome. Yes, it was posted online by Miss Lucia. She came through on a promise. I mean, she said she was going to do it and she did. And he runs down because he wants to show it to his uncle, right? But he shows it to his uncle and the rest of his family. They all watch the threesome video together. That is not a family bonding activity. Goodbye. That is no. Episode 8. The video of Julian's threesome, it spreads even in jail, and Ernesto watches it when one of his cellmates show it to him on a smuggled phone. Bruno and Virginia, they somehow get tasked with explaining or trying to make sense of what the video was about to Micaela, who saw a little bit of it. That was the scene. Paulina and Olena, they tell Julian that it's not that bad. Everything's gonna be alright. It could have been worse. Virginia, she comforts Julian as well, and she asks him, what is Lucia's deepest, darkest secret? She wants to know so that they can ruin Lucia as well. Honestly, love a revenge plot. After some prodding, Julian finally reveals that Lucia's family made their wealth through illegal means. Her grandfather got rich by selling drugs. They all light up in joy upon hearing that information because of the wonderful thought of revenge. I gotta say, I honestly love the fact that they didn't judge him for it. They didn't put him down for taking such a video or engaging in the acts that he did. I mean, it's completely human, it's completely normal, and I thought that was a nice message to have. Even though they may not have agreed with the idea of recording it and then leaving it so openly for someone to take it and thus use it as blackmail, they still supported him through and through, and I think that's lovely. Maria Jose and Paulina, they actually have a heart-to-heart about this video because Maria Jose says that she kind of understands that feeling of what Julian must be feeling about people judging him for his sexuality, just like how she was judged when she became a trans woman. Paulina, she apologizes for her reaction when Maria Jose came out as trans. She felt that she could have been a lot more understanding about Maria Jose and her identity as a woman. I think it was a great scene to have to show that the two of them really are trying to heal past this and be, I guess, great co-parents for Bruno. In the revenge plot, Virginia, she goes to a magazine's office and she talks to one of the journalists saying that she will give them tea about Lucia's family if they agree to interview Julian and let him clear his name. At first, they're pretty reluctant until she threatens to take the story elsewhere. As if the journalist didn't know that would be the next step. Hello, if you reject her, obviously she's going to bring it somewhere else. I just thought it was unnecessary. But anyway, they decide to go along with the interview, provided that Virginia is in the interview together with Julian. The journalist basically wanted to get a bigger scoop. During the actual interview, Virginia, she talks a lot of shit about Lucia and, she just reads her the filth and she tries to encourage Julian to expose Lucia's family secret, but instead he chooses to publicly declare his love for Diego and to say that they're gonna get married. Virginia, she backs him up in the interview, but the video honestly does not affect Lucia in any way when it comes out. So the revenge wasn't exactly revenged. Ernesto, he calls Virginia about this situation and she tells him that unfortunately her revenge plan didn't work out. So Ernesto is like, so what, are you just gonna give up? He knows that she will not give up until the person is destroyed, because back then when Elena was still in elementary school and somebody stole all her friends, Virginia planted lice on the girl. So terrifying, but slay, I guess. Ernesto tells her to be ruthless and to not give up in getting her revenge. Carmela, the nosiest nosy girl, she comes to the House of Flowers, the store. She tries to dig out some information out of Dahlia, who then tells Elena about Carmela's meddling business. So Elena goes and confronts nosy Carmela girlfriend about this. And in the process of her, yelling at Carmela, who is just trying to have dinner, she accidentally exposes the fact that Ernesto is in jail. Because remember, they were telling everybody that Ernesto was in Japan for business. So the tea is out, honey. Virginia, she's falling apart because everything is falling apart. She says that it's really hard to keep up with all the secrets and the lies. Paulina, she comforts her mother and she tries to help her. So the thing is, Lucia, she posts wherever she goes on social media all the time. So Paulina, she helped Virginia find the current location of Lucia, which happened to be at like a nail parlor. So Virginia goes there, and the minute she enters the nail parlor, even before she and Lucia have seen each other, Lucia's already talking smack about Julian and the De La Mora family, like to everyone who was there. So Virginia takes a pair of scissors and cuts off a chunk of Lucia's hair. She exposes Lucia's family secret to the entire salon, and then she makes a dramatic exit like the queen she is. She gets a sudden desire to want to go and celebrate this occasion with her children, Maria Jose and Diego, at the cabaret. Virginia has basically fully accepted Diego to be a part of the family. She's accepted Maria Jose as well. Love that. Slay. Virginia asks Diego to just help get Ernesto out of jail, go and sell whatever he needs to sell to raise the money. The flower shop's anniversary is about a month away, and she really needs Ernesto to be there. Claudio, he brings Elena to his office in the cabaret. He performs like a strip number, I think, for her, a private show, while like everyone else is right outside celebrating. And like Paulina, she was going to look for Elena, and so she goes to the office and she is startled by the sight of the bumping and the grinding, but she doesn't say anything to them. She doesn't confront them. She doesn't stop them. She just slips away. Well, we know Paulina, she's definitely going to find a way to use this information to her benefit down the road. Episode 9. So the flower shop, they get a little visit from their competitors, Chiquis. They actually want to buy a house of flowers, and they have a very generous offer for Virginia, but she rejects them. Elena, she goes and apologizes to Carmela about crashing out at her. And Carmela girl is like, listen, you're putting me in a hard spot. You're making me choose between the De La Mora family and morality. And I always choose morality. Sure. Diego, he invites a couple of his friends. It's a gay couple who run a Pride magazine. So he invites them over to his and Julian's house, hoping that they would be able to convince them to get flowers for their upcoming wedding from the De La Mora family. But their wedding planner, who just materializes out of nowhere, says that the De La Moras are too expensive and it's gonna go above the budget that they had in mind, and she had already gotten flowers from someone else anyway. They have been planning for too long, and changing the florist now is just gonna make a lot of issues happen. The couple does agree with their wedding planner, but then Diego, he gets another idea. His friends, they own Pride magazine, and so Diego suggests that maybe they can get the House of Flowers featured in the magazine to attract more customers by showing that they are open, they are modern, they are accepting. But Julian kind of makes it all about himself. He wants to be featured instead so that he can get more followers, and then that would somehow influence them to want to come to the flower shop and buy flowers. So he gets his photos taken and he tells Virginia about it. She's not too pleased with the idea, but he already got it done. It's too late. It's going to be published, and he shows her the pictures that he took. She's rather displeased about the nature of the picture. There was a fair bit of nudity. She rants to Paulina about it, and she feels bad for making Julian feel bad because she doesn't understand the concept of social media or like social following, what it means to be viral, I suppose, or what it means to have this huge following on social media that can bring or attract people to their shop. She also tells Paulina about their competitor wanting to buy over the house of flowers. Paulina's a bit upset because she's like, why did you not tell anyone about this earlier? And somehow, in that fit of frustration and annoyance, Paulina also lets slip to her mother that she knows that Dr. Cohen is her biological father. Virginia just denies it, but she obviously doesn't know that her children have taken a DNA test, so therefore they know the truth. So remember Poncho, the male stripper that Julian had met in the sauna, who is now working at the cabaret House of Flowers? He bumps into Carmela, our nosy neighbor, at the grocery store on purpose. Elena and Claudio are actually watching all this via CCTV because apparently either, I guess, Claudio or Elena knows the security guard, or they paid the security guard off so that they could have access to the footage, and they're also coaching him on what to say through some in-ear device that he's wearing. They are trying to get Poncho to ensnare Carmela into some trap, but it doesn't work. So they regroup in the cabaret and they get Poncho to start texting Carmela while she's having lunch with her friends who are all talking smack about Verenia and her family. Elena gets Poncho to send Carmela a shirtless picture, and Carmela's response is to ask for a picture that goes below the waist. Oh my god, naughty girl. Poncho then goes to her house at night and she tries to seduce him. He calls her Caramel instead of Carmela. Oh my god. Poncho, he plays that part well, alright. And Carmela, who knew that she had such a side to her? While Carmela and Poncho are busy making out, Elena and Claudio, they're actually in the garden sneakily taking a video of this. And then they also kiss while they are recording Carmela and Poncho kissing. It's just weird. Like, you had one job. Seriously? Out of nowhere, and I found this quite random, Julian actually sets up a meeting with the wedding planner, like Diego's friend's wedding planner, the one who rejected getting flowers from the Della Moras. Her name is Mara. She is planning a huge event for a very wealthy family, and she wants to be able to work with Virginia to get flowers from her. The thing is, she likes Julian, like she's attracted to him, but she thinks that he's gay. But no, he clarifies and tells her that he's bi, not gay, and he flirts right back with her. Like, seriously? Julian puts a rainbow flag on the roof of Verenia's shop front, which, like, Carmela, she comments about the flag and how it shouldn't be there to Elena in her own driveway. So Elena, she hits her back with the tape that she took. She says that she set that whole thing up, and Carmela, she changes her tune real quick. Virginia calls Paulina and Dr. Cohen over to the house, and she admits the truth. Paulina is indeed Dr. Cohen's daughter. We're still on this. I thought it was resolved some time ago. They're all pretty calm about it, and Dr. Cohen, he wants to have a relationship with Paulina now that he knows that she is his biological daughter. But Paulina, she doesn't really want to. She doesn't really think it's necessary either. Michaela, she goes snooping in Virginia's dresser and she finds Ernesto's passport. She confronts Bruno about it, and she says that she's sick of this house and the people in it, and she just wants to leave. So remember how Paulina took pictures of Ernesto when she went to visit him in jail so that they could Photoshop pictures of him in Japan? She already knew that the pictures were Photoshopped because of how bad they were. Bruno admits that Ernesto is not in Japan. He's in the other jail. So at night, Michaela and Bruno pack their things and they run away. Episode 10, Dr. Cohen, he goes to Paulina's house and they talk a little. Dr. Cohen, he wants to meet Bruno. But of course, as we know in the ending of episode 9, Bruno ran away. So when Paulina goes to his room, she finds that he's not there. Maria Jose comes back home and meets Dr. Cohen. Paulina, she tries to call a couple of Bruno's friends to see if they're with him or if they know where he is. They all don't know where he is. They haven't seen him. So Paulina, she tells Maria Jose and Dr. Cohen about it. The two of them start their little adventure of trying to find Bruno while Dr. Cohen goes home. Alina actually tells Maria Jose that Bruno does this pretty often just to get a rise out of her. Some random guy goes to the House of Flowers and he confronts Virginia about selling the greens in his area. Like, nobody can sell without their permission and they need to like pay some kind of fee for doing that, or else she's going to face the consequences. Virginia thinks that he's joking because of how young he looks. He tells her that she has until that night to pay him the amount that he is asking for, or else. In jail, Ernesto actually gets confronted by the brother of the guy that went to visit Virginia. The guy tells Ernesto to tell Virginia to stop selling weed on their turf. Ernesto's confused, of course. He's like, I think you got the wrong person. Like, my family runs a flower shop. And Ernesto, the poor guy, the poor confused lamb, he gets punched in the face. Celia tells Elena rather casually that Michaela is not in her room, she doesn't know where she is, and they're pretty calm about it until Paulina texts Elena asking if she has seen Bruno. They rendezvous at the Delamora house where Elena had actually found Bruno's cracked phone on a driveway and she hands that to Paulina and Maria Jose. Virginia isn't too concerned though. She says they're probably at the movies or something. Who cares? Right. Anyway, right then Ernesto actually calls Virginia to be like, are you selling weed? What are you doing? She confesses that yes, she did, but she places the blame on Ernesto and said that if he didn't go to jail, she wouldn't have had to do this for the cash. Ernesto implores for Virginia to pay the fee to the guy because the brother who is in jail, he was in for extortion and the kidnapping of minors. Virginia panics right then because she thinks they must have been the people who took Bruno and Michaela. So she tells the rest of the family about it and then they start gathering the money. Money which they do not have technically. Where are Bruno and Michaela? You might be wondering. Well, they are in some kind of park or forest or national reserve. They are safe and they had their camping gear with them. Tent was set up and everything and they're having a great time. Carmel, honey, she pays Virginia a little visit and she asks Virginia how cruel could she be to go and send Elena to do stuff like that to her. And Virginia is like, what are you talking about? So Carmela cries about it and she tells Virginia what happened. Virginia is just confused, but she apologizes for that. She said that she is not the one who sent Elena after her. Then Carmela shows Virginia footage from her CCTV that shows Claudio and Elena in her garden making out while they were recording her. Like I said, you had one job. But you see, the thing is, Poncho actually genuinely likes Carmela and he's trying to actively reach out and connect with her again because it was real for him, but Carmela rejects him because she thinks that he's still trying to make a fool out of her. Oh my god, I am kind of living and Carmela, she's sad. She sits at home alone eating a tub of ice cream so sadly while watching videos of Poncho's performances in clubs on her phone. With the youngest kids missing and all the drama, Julian and Diego, they're having a lover's quarrel about the fact that Diego wants to adopt at least 3 kids and Julian is I don't even want kids, bro. I don't even know if I want kids. Probably a conversation they should have had before getting engaged, but okay. Fast forward to the night. the deadline for making the payment is getting close. The De La Mora siblings, Julian, he was like brought up to speed with everything. He's there as well. Dr. Cohen is there. Like everybody and their mother is there. Claudio is also there because, well, that's his stepsister who he has been ignoring ever since Roberta died. Like, I don't even think there has been a scene with the two of them ever since Roberta died. Like, what the hell? Virginia and Paulina, they make up for everything in this moment because of the fear that Bruno and Michaela are in danger. She misses having Paulina in the business and she's sorry for everything. The guy, he arrives at the time that he said he was gonna arrive. Paulina tosses him a bag of money and then they ask for Bruno and Michaela, but the guy is like, what are you talking about? Who the hell is that? He just leaves with the cash. Paulina and Maria Jose, they actually go to the coroner's office because there was a report of two bodies that matched Bruno's description. None of them were Bruno. He and Michaela are actually still happily camping together and looking at constellations until a park ranger finds them, and then he calls Maria Jose, and then the park ranger brings them back to Paulina's house. Maria Jose feels like Bruno needs to leave Mexico. He needs discipline. So she wants to bring Bruno to Madrid with her. Once Ernesto is out of jail. Paulina's not into the idea, obviously, because she's the one who's been taking care of Bruno. But Maria Jose is quite adamant about it. Episode 11. Claudio and Elena, they are going at it in her room in the De La Mora house when Michaela literally opens the door while they're going at it and says that Dom, remember Elena's fiance Dom, is downstairs. He just arrived from New York and he's singing with an entire mariachi band serenading Elena. I completely forgot about him for a bit, not gonna lie. He left Mexico, went back to New York, and then suddenly he's back again serenading his love for her. He came to surprise her because she was worried that she had changed their mind about their engagement. Elena has the audacity to tell Claudio that she can't do this to Dom. Girlfriend! No! So she tells Claudio that she'll deal with Dom and he needs to keep Michaela from talking. See, the thing is, Elena's visa in the US is about to expire. So she tells Dom that they should hurry and get married that weekend. Oh my god, is she just keeping him around for a green card? What in the hell? Also, Dom can suddenly converse very fluently in Spanish. He couldn't understand a single word from before except for hola. Now he's just brilliantly fluent at it. Oh, and this surprise from Dom suddenly coming into Mexico and serenading her with the band and all that was actually arranged by Virginia. Because remember, she saw the footage of Elena and Claudio kissing in Carmela's garden. So iconic of her, honestly. Speaking of engagements, remember how Diego and Julian are engaged? Yeah, well, Julian, he hooked up with Mara, the party planner, because he said that he needed to blow off stress since he feels like everything is moving too fast with Diego. What is with this family and cheating? Virginia, Ernesto, Julian, Elena. Paulina's the only one who has not cheated. Mara, she feels like Julian just has commitment issues. Even though he's been with Diego for 5 years, he had Lucia on the side the entire time. I guess it was the other way to the world. He was with Lucia for that many years, but on the side he had Diego, who's now actually his main relationship. I don't know. So Julian, he suddenly tries to be more romantic and thoughtful with Diego. But you see, the thing is, he accidentally took the room key from the hotel that he was in with Mara. He took it back home with him. And when he was emptying out his pockets to put his keys in their key basket, the card was there as well. And the fool did not realize and didn't remove it until Diego was like, why do you have a hotel room key? Julian lies and says that it's an old one that he found in one of his jacket pockets, which what a stupid lie, because nobody does that. Poor Diego. Maria Jose brings Bruno to the observatory to tell him about the moving to Madrid plan. Bruno doesn't want to go and he talks back to Maria Jose. Remember at the end of episode 8 when Paulina saw Claudio like bumping and grinding up on Elena in the office of the cabaret. Yeah, so she kind of took some pictures of them, not when he was doing that thing in the office, but like when they got out and they joined the rest of the family watching, the performances. They were pretty close to each other, like cuddling up. And so Paulina had actually taken pictures of them and she sent those pictures to Dom. Yeah. Elena, she's like angry and upset with Paulina for number one, taking those photos, and number two, sending it to Dom. Julian's also with them, by the way, and he's just confused. So he's like, wait, so Dom had those photos of Elena and Claudio? Okay, it sounds confusing, but basically, Elena, she was going through Dom's phone, no idea why, and she saw that Paulina had sent those pictures of her and Claudio from the night at the cabaret to Dom before he came to Mexico. So Dom knows that Elena is cheating on him. Although I gotta say, the pictures don't exactly say anything. They just look like two people sitting next to each other. There wasn't anything suggestive. They weren't kissing, nothing, but okay. But yeah, Dom knows that Elena is cheating on him, but he doesn't know that she knows. Like, through it all, he still wants to marry her, and like he doesn't even mention a thing about the cheating. In other news, Virginia and Dr. Cohen, they actually hook up and they smoke weed together. Virginia probably needed that, so good for her. We now fast forward to the day of Elena's wedding, and she's getting cold feet, which she confesses to her mother about. It's actually a very small and intimate affair that's happening in the De La Mora family mansion. Ernesto is on video call. I don't know how he managed that, but I guess it was with a smuggled phone. And Carmela is the only outsider at the wedding. Diego joins the party as well, and he asks Julian to be honest and tell him if he has slept with anyone recently, like after the threesome. Julian denies and Diego says that he believes him. Claudio is actually at the wedding as well, and Micaela tells him to object to it because it's so obvious that he likes or is in love with Elena. The wedding goes on anyway without any objection or rejection, and so Elena and Dom are married now. Virginia asks for her great-grandmother's ring back from Diego because remember, Julian used it to propose to Lucia and then after that proposed to Diego with it. Yeah, she needs it back. She needs to sell it in order to pay for the flower shop's anniversary party. Julian says that he will get Diego another ring and basically asks Diego for a loan so that he can get the ring for him. What? Diego is like, yeah, sure, okay. See, the thing is, Diego actually went to the hotel to get the key card check, like to see if Julian had been there recently with someone. And after some convincing, the staff actually helps him. So he knows. And Micaela, she had actually told Dom that Elena and Claudio were hooking up because remember she barged into the room and saw that. Gross. Dom mentions that to Elena, and he also knows that she went through his phone and saw the pictures that Paulina had sent him. So Elena is like, what the hell are we doing that? Sister, you are the one who suggested to have the wedding on the weekend, okay? Why are you acting so clueless, Mary? But like, she's like, what the hell are we doing? And Dom is like, I'm trying to get over your affair. And she's like, by marrying me? I mean, what? Like, there is no logic in this, and I do not know what is the reason for even having this weaved into the plot, but that happened. Elena tells Dom, this isn't gonna work. And then she tells Virginia about it, who is then quite upset. And she accidentally reveals that she helped, or like she was the one who arranged for Dom to come and have this surprise visit. Elena says that she wants to stay in Mexico because she misses her family and has a thing for Claudio technically, which is probably the primary reason. Everyone goes to the cabaret, including Carmela, who was dragged in by Virginia so that she could see Poncho, because Poncho works there, and said lover sees Carmela from across the room, makes his way over to her. But Miss Carmela, she's still playing hard to get, she's a lady. Claudio is actually performing in the cabaret. I guess he wanted to join the party. He performed the same dance that he did on Elena when they were celebrating in the cabaret after the Revenge Against Lucia thing. Elena watches him and then she goes up to him when he's done to go to a motel together because she told him that she broke up with Dom. I don't even know what's going on anymore, honestly. And then some good news is that Paulina gets a call that one of their various properties got sold. So Maria Jose can start negotiations to get Ernesto out of jail. Okay, episode 12. Everybody's trying to get ready for the flower shop's anniversary party, but they run into a lot of problems like vendor cancellation. Maria Jose and Paulina, they're trying to get Ernesto out of jail, but they still need to raise a certain sum, and currently they don't have the full amount. They've got maybe 3/4 of it. Paulina, she starts to freak out and spiral over this issue, and also the fact that Bruno is going to be going away to Madrid. So Virginia encourages her to go and see Dr. Cohen, aka her real dad. See, the thing is, everyone in the family, including Paulina herself, they all see her as the fixer, the one who fixes things. And she feels like if she can't fix things anymore, then she has no purpose. Like, what is her role in the family? Dr. Cohen, he actually offers to make up for the amount that they need to get Ernesto out of jail. She reluctantly takes it, promising that she's going to return everything back to him as soon as she can. And she also asks that they keep this between them. He's not worried at all, and he just hopes to be able to connect with her and form some kind of relationship with her. Paulina, she candidly tells Maria Jose about it, but she frames it as like a hypothetical question because I think she's questioning this whole thing. I mean, look, she just found out that Ernesto is not her biological dad, and then now she knows who her biological dad is, and then she's taking money to get her non-biological dad out of jail. So it's a bit of a mess. But Maria Jose, she doesn't feel like there's anything wrong with doing that, and she tries to validate Paulina's feelings and actions. Elena, she is going around trying to fix all the issues for the preparations of the party when she discovers that Claudio is actually on Tinder while they were making out, and he's super casual about it. He just sees them as friends with benefits, but she thinks that they're more than that, so she's shook. Claudio says that he does not want a relationship with her right now, and girlfriend is taken aback. What, if she knew that earlier, she would have just stayed married to Dom? Huh? After receiving the amount from Dr. Cohen, Paulina, she goes to the cabaret to get the rest of the money because that's where they were storing it after the properties got sold, in the safe in the cabaret's office. But everything's missing. All the money is gone. Claudio and Elena quickly rush over, and Paulina confronts all the performers about the missing cash because she thinks one of them stole it. Meanwhile, Julian, after Elena's wedding, feels like Diego has become very distant, and he blames himself for all of this, and he unloads this whole story onto a volunteer at a pet shelter where he goes to adopt a dog. He adopted the dog because he wanted to gift it to Diego. So he brings the dog back to his and Diego's place. Their new dog's name is called Pepino, but Diego and all of his things are gone. Julian, he calls and cries about this to Paulina, and she quickly realizes that Diego is the one who took the money because he knew the password to the safe in the cabaret. And hello, he was their financial advisor. Julian confesses to Paulina about sleeping with Mara, and he realizes that Diego must have found out. They all run to tell Virginia about the missing cash, and then everybody cries together. Nothing like sadness and despair to bring a family together, I suppose. Paulina, she breaks the news to Ernesto, and she tells him that she knows that he's not her biological father. They have a whole heart to heart about it, because Ernesto and Paulina, they deeply love each other as father and daughter, and Ernesto just flat out says that Paulina has always been his favorite child. Okay, we are at episode 13, the season finale. Virginia, she visits Roberta's grave with some of her favorite flowers. She was talking out loud, looking for answers. She has a conversation in her head with Roberta's ghost. I mean, I don't know, man. The drama is a little overloaded at this point, but yeah. Virginia, she visits Ernesto. They both apologize to each other. Ernesto says that he's sorry for all that he's done. Virginia is sorry because of the letter from Roberta telling her about the loans and that she was the one who reported him. Yeah, nobody knows still, except for her and Delia and, well, now Ernesto. Ernesto, he forgives her, and he says that all he wants is for them to get back together and be a happy family again. We fast forward to the day of the anniversary party, where Virginia is actually going to announce who will inherit the House of Flowers. Maria Jose says that she needs to go back to Madrid because of work, so she's not gonna stay for the party. Paulina, she's upset about it because Maria Jose was supposed to help get Ernesto out, but at the same time, she knows that there's nothing they can do until they have the money. So Maria Jose and Bruno leave for Madrid before the party starts. Speaking of the money, Diego's on a plane. He's ready for his Jet 2 holiday, and he's got tons of missed calls, voicemails, and texts from Julian. So while seated on the plane with some champagne, Diego calls him back and he reads him to filth, which honestly, he kind of deserves. Elena tells Virginia that she wants to be the one to inherit the flower shop, despite her only working there for 3 months compared to Paulina's 20 years with the business. And she feels like it's fair because Paulina has the cabaret under her. Elena bullshits her way into Virginia's mind, with some crap that she says before she joins her siblings, who are sitting on some stairs with Pepino, Julian's new dog. They're all sulking. Elena tells Paulina that she's the one who's going to inherit the flower shop and that she just talked to their mother about it. So Paulina shouldn't be too surprised when she hears the announcement during the party. Freaking Elena, man. Is it just me, or is her character regressing? What is this delusion? The party gets into full swing, and out of nowhere, Ernesto comes walking in the party with Virginia on his arm. The De La Mora siblings, they are shocked, but they're so happy. Virginia said that she managed to sell another property in time to get the money to get Ernesto out. So then the important moment comes. Virginia gets into a speech. She thanks her guests for coming. Then she announces that the heir to the House of Flowers is Chiquis, their competitor. Talk about plot twists, man. She sold the flower shop to get the money to get Ernesto out of jail. They take their family portrait for a magazine cover. Julian and Elena catch Ernesto up with all the tea that's happened in their lives. He's rather supportive of everything, I think. Carmela and Poncho, my new favorite couple, they reunite at the party, and Paulina, she overhears, but she's unbothered. She's good for you, Carmela. Yeah, honestly, good for her. Hopefully she'll be less nosy now that she's got a new young lover. Delia overhears the competitor saying that they want to tear the flower shop down now that they own the property. And then she tells Elena about it, who has made up with Claudio. Irrelevant, okay. Anyway, Elena, she confronts their competitors and she tries to reason with them, but they don't back down of the decision of wanting to tear the shop up. Julian, meanwhile, is in his room, I think in the mansion, having a threesome going on, but he can't actually get it up. Virginia, she's in her own room and Paulina goes to talk to her about it. She's just shocked that Virginia sold the flower shop and she's not the one who's gonna inherit like everybody thought she would. Virginia says that she didn't want Paulina to make the same mistake that she did and like put the shop above her family, basically. I'm paraphrasing here. And then she tells Paulina to go and be with her family. So she rushes to the airport in time to catch up with Maria Jose and Bruno. She asks Maria Jose if she would like to stay in Mexico with them and like give their relationship another try. Bruno's really happy about it, of course, but Maria Jose is not really sure. But then Paulina kisses her and like, it's lovely. Virginia, she leaves the house with a little note that Delia finds in her bedroom. Julian, Elena, Ernesto, Dr. Cohen, they all go looking for Virginia and they see the note where she says that she's leaving them for good. What a freaking iconic way to leave things behind, Miss Thing. Oh my gosh. I mean, slay. And that is the end of season 1. My head is spinning, not gonna lie. Where do I even begin to summarize the Gigarama drama that happened? We're just gonna do the De La Mora family, okay? Ernesto had a mistress and daughter with her, Micaela. Went to jail for fraud because he was reported by Virginia, his wife. So he was away most of the season technically because he was stuck in jail. Virginia, she was real stressed about trying to fix everything while also simultaneously causing problems for everyone. She and Dr. Cohen, they kind of reignited some flames. And then she gives up her precious flower shop to get Ernesto out of jail, but then she also dips from everyone and basically says goodbye and good luck. Paulina was meant to succeed both the flower shop and the cabaret. She was also trying to fix everything and everyone every day, but she ended up with a renewed relationship with Maria Jose so they could be a family again with Bruno. Julian, he just screwed Diego over like big time, and so in retaliation, Diego stole all the money that was set aside for Ernesto's like bail, and all Julian is left with is his new dog Pepino. Elena, she came back from New York with her fiance Dom, who she was unfaithful to because she was hooking up with her half-sister's half-brother Claudio, which sounds like it may be incest, but I don't think it is. I don't know. And she married Dom for like 5 minutes before leaving him to be with Claudio, who just sees them as friends with benefits. And I guess she's staying in Mexico for good. And of course, a little honorable mention to Carmela and her new lover Poncho. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the De La Mora family in a little nutshell. Let's go into our Diva of the Season corner. So our candidates are going to be number 1, the Queen Bee herself, Miss Virginia de la Mora, man. Oh my gosh, she's such a freaking icon. Her fits, her attitude, her hair, her need for revenge, the secrets, the lies, Miss Thing. She's amazing. I love her. Second on our list is Carmela, of course. I mean, look, she is annoying as hell with her nosiness. She is just so nosy, wanting to know everything about everyone, especially the De La Mora family. But you know what? Props to her. Through her nosiness, she found herself a new young lover. By the way, her husband, he's like away most of the time. Like we don't see him in season 1 because he's supposedly away for work. The thing is, during the anniversary party, when Carmela and Poncho are like reunited, she brings him back to her house and they start hooking up in her bed, and then her husband comes home and he sees them and it ends. Scandalous. So of course she's got to go on the list of being Diva of the Season. For our final candidate, honestly, I had to think for a bit on who I thought should join Virginia and Carmela, because quite honestly, besides Maria Jose, I didn't really like anyone else. So I'm just gonna say Diego, because I think his revenge was wonderful. Okay, he got screwed over by Julian and he decided to get some real revenge by taking all the money. And you know what? Maybe he is living a much better life now elsewhere with the millions of dollars. Good for him. I'm adding him to the list. So similar concept to the previous video, a poll is going to be released for you divas to vote who you think is diva of the season. The voting will be valid until my next video drops, and whoever you divas elect as diva of the season is gonna go up on our board to join the rest of the divas that we will collect in all the videos that will be put out, and we'll have an ultimate diva smackdown. Well, it seems like my teacup is empty, and that means our kiki is over. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this. I'm always so grateful for you taking time out of your day to listen to my yapping, and for all the love, support, and kindness that you divas have been giving me. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a gorgeous day. Bye.